Hello and welcome to the parish church of St Guslack in Market Deeping, Lincolnshire. It's named after Guslack, who was an Anglo-Saxon hermit who came to the island of Crowland from the monastery at Repton in 699 AD. He died in 714 AD, aged about 40, and was made a saint. Crowland Abbey was founded in his memory some years later. This church tower shows a portcullis of the Beaufort coat of arms. Lady Margaret Beaufort, that was mother of Henry VII, lived her childhood and the early years of her second marriage in the area. This tower was built in the 1440s. On the tower, to catch the morning and afternoon sun, are two early 18th century sundials inscribed, "The day is thine and the night cometh." A green man near ground level at the junction of the tower and the south aisle. The entrance arch to the church is 12th century. The door is 19th century, but that ironwork, that black ironwork, is from the 1200s, and the tracery is slender leaf patterns. This late 13th century porch contains two Norman 13th century stone coffin covers and an Anglo-Saxon 10th century interlaced panel. Here you can see a carved memorial to those involved in the 1878 restoration. You can see a raised line clearly visible in the stonework on both sides here. This was the original roof line of the church before the clerestory was added in the 15th century. This three-bay north arcade is of the early 1200s. The nave was re-roofed in 1824, then in the 1940s refurbished. Then in the 1840s the chancel was refurbished. In 1878 the church was reopened after a major restoration. The work included replacing the chancel and south aisle roofs and widening the north aisle. The east end of the south aisle has a 14th century piscina. The old rectory behind this church was built about 1240 and is apparently the oldest inhabited rectory in the country. In 1380, Edward II granted a charter to hold a market and fair forever at their manor, and this later resulted in the change of the name from the village of St. Guslac Deeping to Market Deeping. In 1563, the rood loft and screen were taken down, and the Wake family's chantry chapel here lost its source of income for upkeep and was blocked up until the 19th century. The north wall has an Aubrey reset tomb recess and mid-13th century carved stone coffin lid. Above it is a blocked arch, which is thought to be Saxon in origin. Here in the chancel you can see a piscina from the 1300s and two sedilia from the early 16th century. John Clare, the poet, came this way in the mid-19th century, bringing a few pence to buy a book in which to write his verses. The stationer, a man called Henson, chatted with him and entered into a plan for printing a prospectus inviting 300 people to buy copies of his very first book of poems. The north aisle here accommodates the Lady Chapel. Above the piscina is the entrance to the rood loft, which formerly crossed the chancel. The octagonal font is from the 14th century. Thank you for watching this short film of St. Guslac's Church in Market Deeping.